everybody, Cinema Sickness here with your daily sickness video, and happy Saturday to each and every one of you. Yes, weekend is finally here upon us. That is absolutely awesome. You gotta love that. Gotta love the weekend being here. And what I have in store for you today is not a collection update, not an unboxing, but reviews. We're gonna take a look at what I've recently been checking out. So, okay, there we go. Now that a quarter of you are still with us, let's check out what I've recently been watching and just give you my quick thoughts on each one of these. Like always, I do want to start out by saying that possible spoiler alerts, just fair warning, it's always a possibility. When I do reviews, I may spoil some things for you guys, and I do apologize for that. So you have been warned. So let's get down to it. Let's take a look at everything I've been checking out. And the first one we'll take a look at are the two titles here that I wrote down on a piece of napkin, because I actually watched both these titles, my digital copies of, so I don't actually have physical copies to hold up and show you, although one of them I am getting off of Listius, so one of them I will actually have coming to me soon. So first things first, and that is Outlaw Prophet Warren Jeffs. Interesting movie. If I'm not mistaken, a Lifetime movie. I actually got it for free. I think was it Ultraviolet or was it Voodoo? It was either Ultraviolet or Voodoo. I think was actually giving that title out for free. So I took advantage of that, checked it out, and pretty decent movie. Messed up movie, all about this Mormon prophet, Warren Jeffs, and he was actually one of the FBI's most 10 wanted men, and complete psychopath, and not because he's Mormon. I mean, whatever, Mormons can do their own thing, that's fine. Knock yourselves out. From what I've seen from the movie, they seem to be pretty decent people for the most part. But this guy was a complete psychopath, wanting to run this community, even though he wasn't really supposed to be. He wanted to run this community and do things his way, and then went all crazy and soliciting underage marriages, underage sex, and it got pretty nasty. In fact, I was wondering going into this, I thought to myself, oh, I hope this isn't a movie about the FBI just going after people because of their religion, because I mean, you know, I'm not religious myself, but I say, hey, you know, do your thing. As long as you're not hurting anybody, do your thing. But Warren Jeffs very quickly in this movie started to hurt people in all kinds of certain ways. Physically, mentally, all kinds of ways that Warren Jeffs hurt people. So, yeah, he got what he deserved. So, crazy psychopath, interesting movie. How much of it is real and how much of it's Hollywood, you never know. I mean, every time I watch one of these movies about, you know, a movie about somebody, it's always like, was any of this embellished? Was any of this made up? Who knows? I can't tell how many times I've seen movies that turned out to be quite embellished. It happens. So, again, I don't really know how much of this is true and how much of it isn't, but if most of this is true, it's pretty crazy, pretty messed up, and Warren Jeffs was a pretty crazy dude. So, is it worth checking out? Yeah, I was actually surprised. Again, I think it was a Lifetime movie, and if that's the case, it actually was a pretty good Lifetime movie. You know, they tend to be very hit or miss. They tend to be very miss. But occasionally you get one like the Outlaw Prophet Warren Jeffs, and it's a hit. I actually really did enjoy it, and I would recommend it. Although I think the only way you can get it is digitally, and you can order it off maybe like Lifetime's website or something like that as a DVD-R. So that kind of sucks. They didn't actually do like a physical, real release of it, which is a shame. But check it out. It was interesting. I'd recommend seeing it. Messed up movie. And then the second title I checked out, which I don't have a physical copy of, but I do have a physical copy coming to me, and that is Into the Storm. Thanks to one of you guys sending that digital copy to me, I was able to check it out, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. It's, you know, a lot of people said it was like, people even said they really liked it or they really hated it when I mentioned I was watching it. I got some people saying, oh, I loved it. Other people saying, worst movie of 2014. You know, I can see both. It wasn't great. It was a bit cheeseball. It had some weird, like, nonsensical comedic elements to it, like the two like redneck, were they brothers or friends, wherever they were. That was weird. Like, why did those two characters need to be in this movie? They just seem really out of place. You have this movie that's trying to be somewhat serious about these major storms, you know, hitting and storm chasers and all that stuff. And you got these two like rednecks, you know, hamming it up for the camera. And it's like, what? Why did you have to be in the movie? You know, so the movie was very hit or miss, though. I mean, it had some good moments, some great moments. I really basically liked when the storm chasers were going after the storm. Like, anytime the storm chasers were involved, it was pretty interesting. The little hillbilly, whatever they were again, brothers or friends, whatever they were, they weren't so great. I kind of wish they weren't even in the movie. And then of course you have this whole thing with these two kids, and one of them is in love with this girl, and they go off and get caught in the storm, and there's his dad, and their mother has died. These two kids are kind of like butting heads with the dad, and then, of course in the end they make up and love each other because they survived the storm together. And that's okay. So unfortunately, it was just kind of too many stories going on. It really should have been more like Twister. I love Twister, great movie. Just make a story about the storm chasers. You don't need all these like side characters and side stories and all this stuff. Just make a fun movie about storm chasers and just kind of call it a day. That's what they really should have done. So would I recommend it? If you want to see it, I would recommend it. I'd say if it's one of those movies that like you think, yeah, this is a movie I want to check out, then see it. It is worth checking out. Nothing amazing, nothing mind-blowing, but it is worth seeing if it's something you want to check out. If you don't have any interest in it, then it's nothing you need to see. But Into the Storm, I liked it, just wasn't blown away. See Twister, it's a much better film. All right, now onto actual physical media, which I apparently love. All right, first thing we have here is Boxtrolls. Loved this movie, as it says right there, from the makers of Coraline and Paranorman, which are two other fantastic movies. And this movie was just as great. I wouldn't say quite as twisted as Coraline and Paranorman. Those are more like a lot darker, but this was still had some darkness to it. Fun movie, loved it. Love seeing these. I love seeing these Boxtrolls, these trolls who like live in these boxes, which is hilarious when they hide and stuff like that. And there's this boy who you find out they've saved, and he is living with the Boxtrolls and kind of thinks he's a Boxtroll for a while. Very interesting to see this character kind of go from growing up being raised by these Boxtrolls going into the human normal world, and seeing how that all interacts. And then of course the Boxtrolls, they're all trying to be eradicated, but they're not actually bad. And it's a whole great story, and this was absolutely fun. This is a CGI anime movie, definitely worth checking out. I would highly recommend this. I loved all the characters. I love the story. I will be watching this one again sometime soon. Boxtrolls is awesome. See it. Then this was interesting. This was called Holy Flying Circus, which is apparently, if I'm not mistaken, this was a like a made-for-TV movie, I believe. I just going off what I read online. So made-for-TV movie, all about, as it says, Holy Flying Circus reimagines the controversy surrounding the Monty Python's 1979 film, The Life of Brian. So this is an interesting movie. It's kind of like they took actual facts and actual historical moments from the lives of Monty Python around the big controversy surrounding The Life of Brian when it was released. They took those facts and those stories and then kind of made like a fictional movie out of it. So there's a lot of like comedic elements, a lot of stories that aren't actually true, a lot of funny things that happen, dream sequences, fantasies, funny, goofy banter, stuff like that didn't actually really happen, but it's all based around things that actually did happen. There's plenty of things in here, like when they did the interview with the bishop and stuff like that, things like that, and about the movie possibly not getting released, and if it is released, what's it going to be rated, and all kinds of stuff like that. So very interesting. It's sort of half biographical, half made up fun fantasy, just a fun goofy movie. If you like Monty Python, it's worth checking out. They casted this very well. I was really surprised to see the cast. Everybody did a great job, because this isn't the Monty Python crew here. This is people pretending to be the Monty Python crew and doing a phenomenal job. I was really blown away by everybody they had playing these characters. They pretty much played them to a T. And you would actually, when I'm watching it, I'm forgetting that I'm not actually watching the real Monty Python crew. It's that well done. They casted this movie so brilliantly. I was really surprised by that. So I'd recommend checking this out if you're a Monty Python fan. It is interesting. It's a work of fiction based on things that actually really happened, but it is fun. It is enjoyable, and this just goes to show how absolutely funny John Cleese is. I think he's one of the greatest comedian actors in the world. Funny, one of the funniest men alive, if not like the funniest man alive. The guy they have playing him, just them writing for him, just him acting like John Cleese, just them writing for John and writing writing his character and the jokes they do. I was cracking up laughing. I'm like, that's not even really him. And just somebody pretending to be him has me in tears. I love that man. So I'd recommend checking this out. It was pretty good. I really did enjoy this. I could see myself watching this again. This was an enjoyable watch. Again, like I said, it's an interesting story because it is a work of fiction, but it's based in reality. So check it out. It was fun. And then some more CGI animation here with The Book of Life. Another interesting movie. I did enjoy this one as well, all based around the Day of the Dead. Animation in this was beautiful. I thought the animation in this was superb, fantastic. If you were a sucker for great animation, see this. It was absolutely amazing. Now, the story, I thought was just okay. This love triangle of a story, but it was decent. I did enjoy it, and I would recommend checking this out if you like CGI animated films. It was certainly a good watch, and even though the story didn't blow me away, it was still a good story. Well done, and again, absolutely superb animation. So, Book of Life, it is one to check out. Then I checked out Paris Je t'aime, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I don't speak French, so I may very well not be. This is an interesting movie. It's what is it, like a dozen stories or so? Probably doesn't actually tell me how many stories. Of course it doesn't. That'd be way too easy. But it's like a dozen stories or so, all about like 6 minutes long, all done by different writers and directors. So each story is done by a different writer and director. And the only thing these stories have in common is the fact that they all take place in Paris. Now, at the very end, they try to tie some of them together very loosely. They try to tie some of them together, which I didn't like because not all, if they would have tried to loosely tie all the stories together, okay, that could have been interesting, but they just loosely tied a few of them together, and that just seemed weird to me. It's like, it's got to be all or none. You got to tie them all together, or you got to just not have any of them, like, be anything. So, I don't know, I didn't really care for them trying to tie stuff together at the end, but very interesting, very hit or miss. It's just like any other movie you've ever seen where it's, a bunch of different stories by different writers and directors. Some are good, some are not so good. And that's what you're getting here. Some are good and some are not so good. They'll also be warned, if you don't like subtitles, you may not want to watch this because most of it's in French. There is some English in this, but most of it's French. So be warned. I wasn't aware of that when I went into this. I guess I probably should have been, but I wasn't aware that the whole thing was like in French. But nothing wrong with that. I have nothing wrong with subtitles. I'll gladly watch a movie with subtitles. It does not bother me. So did I enjoy this? It was okay. I'm not really going to recommend this one full-heartedly. I'm just going to say, again, this is going to go in the pile of, if it's something you want to see it. If it's not something you want to see, then you don't need to. It wasn't all that great. Like I said, some of the stories were decent, some of them not so much. And actually, I kind of was bothered by some of the stories because the ones I really did like, didn't really have an ending for the most part. They just, it's a story and then the couple goes off, or the story continues, but you don't see the rest of the story. And there were some of them where I was like, no, I want to know the rest of the story. What happens to these two characters? Do things work out? It's like, what happened here? You never know, because it's just this short little 6-minute story, and you don't get the whole story. You just get kind of part of it, and that bugged me. I really wanted to see more story, but anyway, it is what it is. So Paris Je t'aime. Like I said, if it's something you want to see, check it out. If you have no interest in seeing this at all, then you don't need to, because it's really not anything all that special, in my opinion. Then I checked out Dementia 13 in 3D, using my really cool 3D... I don't even know what that is. My new Razer 3D box. I don't even know. You guys just saw me talking about it. I recently just picked up those cool 3D packs that come with that like 3D device you hook up to your TV and uses the shutter glasses and stuff. And you had to watch it on your old school tube TV and stuff like that. Loved it. Very cool. And this actually looks pretty decent in 3D. I was surprised. I heard some people kind of bad mouthing these movies because these are just upscale to 3D. It's not. This wasn't a 3D movie. They converted it to 3D. And I thought it actually looked pretty good. I was surprised, the dimension I was getting, how things looked. It actually looked pretty decent. So if you ever get a hold of this movie in 3D, it looks nice. But Dementia 13, as it says, Francis Ford Coppola's. Yes, Francis Ford Coppola movie here. It's an alright story. The problem with this for me is the fact that the killer, very early in the movie, you kind of know who the killer is. They're trying to make you like guess who it is, but it's pretty blatantly obvious. Like, if you just pay attention, you're like, that's the killer. Like, you know exactly who it is. You basically know the story very early on, like what happened. Very early, this is what happened, because they have flashbacks and stuff going on, and it's not very hard to pick up what happened. Very, very early, I'm like, okay, this guy did this and he's the killer. Like that, just obviously. The psychotic doctor in this, though, he's hilarious to watch. There is this like family doctor who's just a complete nutcase. I love his character. So interesting movie. If you like these older like cheeseball Roger Corman, because this is a Roger Corman title. If you like these cheeseball Roger Corman movies, Little Shop of Horrors and The Raven and this is stuff like that. If those are the types of things you like, if you just love these classic cheesy movies, then see it. It is one of the better ones, I'll have to say. Dementia 13 is definitely one of the better ones out there. There are some stinkers. This one of the betters, but it's nothing amazing. It's nothing great. It's nothing mind-blowing. It's just okay. But again, this is your thing. If you like these cheesy movies, then it is worth seeing. And then I watched Blind Date. About time I finally got around to watching this one. One of those movies I wanted to see for a long time now. I've had in my collection for a long time now. Finally, just getting around to watching. Bruce Willis, Kim Basinger, pretty interesting. Bruce Willis is kind of doing pretty well for himself, making money, doing pretty good in this business. He has a business meeting to go to, but he needs a date for it. So he gets hooked up with a blind date played by Kim Basinger. He thinks everything's great. He's like falling in love because this girl's so beautiful and funny and great. Turns out she has a bit of an issue, a bit of a drinking issue, where just once she gets some alcohol in her, she doesn't even have to get like totally wasted, just some alcohol in her, she does get pretty loopy and pretty wasted and goes like psychotic, and she just becomes a complete nutcase, ruins Bruce Willis's night and gets him fired, and just, look at him. He goes through absolute hell. But of course, in the end, they realize that they are madly in love with each other, and they get together. Yay. I don't know. Like, I'd say the first half of this movie is pretty good. So the first half of this movie is the craziness, the date they're on, the absolutely crazy insanity that takes place during this date. I love that. Then it's like the second half of the movie is Bruce Willis trying to like go after Kim Basinger because she's going to get married, not willingly get married, but she's getting married, and he's trying to like basically save her from getting married and say that he loves her and stuff, and it's just this whole. That part's just okay. So I'd say the first half of this movie pretty good. I was really into it. I was like, this date's funny. I love seeing everything go crazy. I love seeing just this Bruce Willis just get the worst of everything and just seeing what's going on, and this horrible blind date because his date is just completely like off her ass drunk and just going ape shit. And then of course she has this ex-boyfriend who's coming after him too, which makes things just crazy, and that's who she ends up who she's gonna end up marrying. But then like I said, then it just takes like a 180 and just kind of goes in a bit of a different direction with Bruce Willis trying to save Kim Basinger from getting married and say he loves her and stuff like that. It's just kind of like that part's okay. It was all right. So first half of this movie great. Second half kind of ruined it a bit for me. So Blind Date, I would say, was okay. I was expecting more. Kind of was thinking this is gonna be great, and I got just mediocre. Expecting top shelf, got mid shelf. So. It was all right. Would I recommend checking it out? Yeah, I'd say sure, see it. It wasn't bad. If you like just funny 80s movies, it is worth seeing, but it's not one of the best in my opinion. Now, this was great. Sweetwater. Really enjoyed the hell of this. I grabbed this simply based on the fact that it was $1. Found it at the Dollar Tree like a few months ago. It was $1. Picked it up just on a whim, no idea. I thought it looks like a Western. Okay, I'll see it. It's $1, whatever. We'll check it out, see if it's any good. This blew me away. Really loved this movie. There's this crazy preacher who's like money hungry and land hungry and just a complete psychopath of a preacher who I absolutely love. So he ends up killing these two guys who the sheriffs actually like trying to hunt down and find out what happened to these two guys. I love him because the sheriff is I'm sorry, I'm like reading this. I'm like it was just, I mean, seriously, so well done. I absolutely love this. So anyway, it's Ed Harris. He plays this sheriff, and he's I love it. He's going after Jason Isaac, and he's going after him, but he can't like necessarily 100% prove that he killed that the preacher killed these men, but he toys with them throughout like the whole the whole movie. Like, he knows he did it. He just can't prove it necessarily, but he knows he did it. So he's toying with him the entire movie. So sarcastic, so crazy. I mean, Ed Harris is like a nutcase in this movie too. He's crazy within his own right also. He's pretty cool, but he's crazy in and of himself. And at one point, he literally, like, he finds the bodies of the two men he's looking for, finds them, digs them up, takes them to Jason Isaacs' house, has them sitting there, these corpses sitting there. It's hilarious. I absolutely loved that part. And then we have this other story, which ends up turning out to be really cool, where Jason Isaac ends up killing this girl's, there's this husband and wife. He ends up killing the wife's husband, and she thinks he just ran off or something like that, finds out that he killed him, and now she's on a murderous rampage, and she just goes crazy by starting off killing this preacher's posse. Like, he's got all this, this group of followers throughout the town. She just goes and starts killing them off one by one, just killing every last one of them, and it's absolutely fantastic until finally she gets her proper revenge, which is pretty awesome. I love the end too. Bit of a spoiler here, and I already gave kind of away that she gets her revenge, but I love at the very end when she is going. She's the gun pointed at Jason Isaacs, and she's going to shoot him. He's already been shot, and she thinks he's dead, but she's going to shoot him anyway. One last bullet kind of thing. And she goes, no, she kind of turns around, like, no, he's dead, whatever. She turns around. I'm thinking, oh, no, now you're going to get shot in the back or something like that. Because you've seen 100 times in a movie where somebody thinks, oh, the bad guy's dead, and just turns around and walks away. And then the bad guy's not dead, and he shoots him. You see it all the time. I thought, is this going to be stereotypical? Is that what's going to happen? Is she going to get shot? No, at the very last minute, she just, even though he didn't draw his gun on her or anything like that, she turns around and then just goes, nah, fuck it. Turns around, just boom, shoots him. I'm like, yes, that's what people should do. Just finish the bad guy off. Don't just assume he's dead. Just blow his head off. Then he's dead. Don't assume. Assuming is a bad idea if you're trying to kill somebody in a movie. Do not assume they're dead. Make sure they're dead. And she does. So great movie. This is one to check out. I love this movie. If you were like me and you picked this up for $1 a few months ago, haven't got around to checking it out yet, do. It was great. And then, since it was Abraham Lincoln's birthday, I watched 2 movies here. Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter and Abraham Lincoln vs. Zombies. 2 movies I've already seen. In fact, the last time I watched these movies, I watched them back to back also, so doing that again. I like both movies. They just, they both have their good points and they both have their bad points. A lot of people seem to really, really enjoy Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. Now, I don't think it's a bad movie. I just think this movie could have been so much more, that I was kind of disappointed the first time I watched it. And even the second time watching it, I thought maybe I'll like it more the second time around. I was still kind of disappointed. The part of the problem I have with this is the fact that it is so just like, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened. It's one of those movies where things don't necessarily flow. It's not like this big, continuous flowing story where everything kind of goes into each other. It's just kind of like a little bit of a story, 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 a little bit of a story. Just bam, 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 bam. And I just don't feel like there was a good flow to the story. And that kind of bugged me. It almost felt like it should have been like the movie should have been much longer or something to make all the scenes flow into one another and all the stories flow into one another. Otherwise, it's okay. And I think maybe why people like this movie is because maybe by the time you get to the end of the movie, you've kind of forgotten about the beginning of it. Because the end of the movie is pretty decent. I like when they're going after, the head group of vampires, and they're at their house. Oh my god, I love when they go to the plantation, and there's like a painting all around the room. And some of the vampires are like hiding in the painting and they jump out. That's really cool. I liked that scene. Then of course there's the scene at the end with the train that's supposed to have silver. There's not really silver on the train, but it's supposed to have the silver, and the bridge is on fire, and the train's going over it. And that's it, intense and fun. Great battle scene, great fighting. That's another thing. Really great action scenes in this. So it has its good points. It's a fun story. It's an interesting story. It's an enjoyable story. I do like this movie. I just think it could have been much more, could have been better done. I think that's the main thing. It had all this potential. It's like, here's a fantastic story, and then it just wasn't executed as well as it should have been, in my opinion. I think it should have been executed better, could have been better. Ended up just being like, it ended up just being okay. It's a good movie. I would recommend it. It's fun. It's a fun movie, but my main problem is the fact that it could have been so much better, in my opinion. It could have been fantastic. This could have been a movie where I was like, you have to see this. It's brilliant. everyone must check it out. Could have been one of those movies, but it didn't quite get there. So Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, yeah, see it. It is enjoyable. A lot of you guys out there seem to really like this movie. When I mentioned I was liking it, so many of you said this. You think this is a fantastic film. And hey, that's how you feel? Great. So I would recommend this one. Like I said, it's not perfect at all, in my opinion, but it is worth checking out. Now, Abraham Lincoln versus Zombies. Really hard to say which one of these I like more. Part of me wants to even say I like this one more. This is an asylum movie. This is a cheeseball asylum movie, but it's awesome. The more I think about it, I kind of like them both a bit the same. Because like I said, they both have their negatives and their positives. Positive about this one is just that it's fun. It's cheesy. It's ridiculous. It is so over the top. And that's great. But at the same time, that's kind of its downfall. I mean, yeah, it is a cheeseball, goofy movie. The production's nowhere near as great as Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. You know, it is low budget. One of the fun things about this movie, you can almost make a drinking game out of it. All the goofs. There's so many like there's like I don't even know if it's crew that's in the background, but you'll see like little heads bobbing up behind like hills and stuff like that. I don't know if it's the crew. I don't know if it's just people who like onlookers or something like that trying to catch a glimpse. I don't know what it is. There's scenes like where like you can see like traffic going. There'll be like a fence, and they'll put like burlap sack like mesh over like the fence to like I guess block it out. But you can see traffic driving by in the background. Things like that. Like a tank. There's a part where I've seen where there's a tanker truck in the background, like modern day tanker truck. Things like that. The fort they're in for most of the movie. It's hilarious because the fort looks like it's been there for, since the Civil War. There's continuity issues too, like people's ages and the fact that people like Stonewall Jackson, the fact that he was dead before Gettysburg, which, they talk about Gettysburg in here, and Stonewall Jackson was dead before that. He's in the movie. Things like that. The bad actual like actual continuity, like factual continuity. Bad. I mean, you can make a drinking game out of all the mistakes throughout this movie, but it is fun, and that's why I love it. It's so ridiculously cheesy. So is this going to be for everybody? Absolutely not. But if you like your movies just cheeseball and fun and goofy, and you want to have a good laugh while just having watching something that's fun as well, then Abraham Lincoln vs. Zombies is something to check out. I'm just the scene where he just flicks up. He's got this small sickle thing. This folds up, and it's kind of like it's almost like a giant switchblade. It's really cool. He flips it out, flips the sickle out, and he's like, emancipate this, and goes after the zombies. I love that. A very young Teddy Roosevelt is in this movie too. Although, again, from what I read, apparently Teddy Roosevelt would have been like 5 or something at the time when this movie would have taken place, so he would have been much younger than than the kid actually was. But he's constantly feeding him lines. Like, he hands him a stick and he's like, here, walk, because the zombies are attracted by noise. He's like, here, walk softly, but carry this big stick. Things like that. He's constantly feeding Teddy Roosevelt lines that are actual famous Teddy Roosevelt quotes. So it's like, okay, Teddy Roosevelt apparently got all of his famous quotes from when he was fighting zombies with Abraham Lincoln as a young child. It's hilarious. I love this movie. So yeah, maybe I will say I like this movie a little bit better than Abraham Lincoln. I kind of like badmouth this one a little bit. This movie has its faults, but it's an asylum movie. You expect that. A big budget movie like Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, I don't want faults. I watch this movie. It's a big budget movie. It's a Hollywood movie. The faults should be worked out. It shouldn't have many faults. A couple, sure, movies do have faults, but they should have been worked out. It should have been made into a better movie. Whereas this one, I'm expecting it to be bad. I'm expecting it to be cheesy. I know that's how this movie's gonna be. I don't go into this expecting something great. I go into this expecting cheese, and that's what I got. Plenty of cheese. This movie's great. I'd recommend it. One of the better, if not one of my all-time favorite, probably asylum movies out there. I love this one. See it. It's great. Check it out. Abraham Lincoln vs. Zombies. I just love this movie. Again, you gotta like them cheesy. If you like them cheesy, see this. It was fantastic. So anyway, guys, there you go. That is it. That is everything I've recently been checking out. Lots of great titles. Definitely, I'd say what? Am I recommending everything here? I would, I would. Everything I checked out, I recommend. Like I said, not all of them are fantastic. Into the Storm was just okay. Parachute Attempt was just okay. Blind Date was just kind of okay, in my opinion. Even Dementia 13 is just kind of like, all right. But, even though they weren't all fantastic, they were all definitely worth a watch. I would say every single one of these, if you have any interest in checking any of these out, they're all worth seeing if there's something you want to see in here. Every single one is at least worth a watch. Some better than others, but we're checking out nevertheless. So, again, guys, that is it. So, like I always say, if you like this video, please give me a like. Just click on the thumbs up tab down below. I really appreciate it. It takes 2 seconds, but it means the absolute world to me. Also, if you're not already subbed, please do. I do a brand new daily sickness video for you guys every single day. Reviews, collection updates, unboxings, cinema hunting videos. It just looks into my collection, just looks into my daily sickness for cinema. So if you want to see me every day, and why wouldn't you, hit that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. Also, if you're not... One of these days I'm going to learn, when I do these long videos, to get a drink of water. And my voice is going absolutely dry. So let's try to finish this really quickly. So if you're not already over at cinemasickness.com, head on over there, check it out. There's a link down below. Click on that link, go over there. A lot more to see there than just these videos. I post all kinds of news on deals that I find that are going on. There's a whole bunch of online deals going on right now I posted about. I posted about deals, if I find them in shops, I'm out and about hunting. Find a good deal, I'll immediately post about that deal so you guys can get in on it. My videos are, of course, there. You can see what I'm watching, what I'm currently up to. I post all kinds of stuff, posts constantly at cinemasickness.com. Plus, you can look at my collection. I have my entire collection listed there. FAQ page, all kinds of stuff at cinemasickness.com, including Team Sickness. If you like my videos, you're going to like their videos. So click on the Team Sickness tab. Check out all their videos. A lot of great reviews and collection updates and whatnot from those guys and gals. And lastly, while you're there, be sure to click on the merchandise tab and purchase yourself a Cinema Sickness sticker, a Cinema Sickness button, and or a Cinema Sickness t-shirt, hoodie, tank top, baby gear, all kinds of great stuff to be purchased. I'd really appreciate the support. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. I am so going to go get a glass of water now because my throat is just ridiculously dry. But a lot of great stuff. Check everything out, guys. I will see you tomorrow, Sunday. And like I said, hopefully you have Monday off as well. Hopefully it's a long weekend for you. I hope. Otherwise, sorry that tomorrow's your last day. So I hope you guys are having an absolutely fantastic Saturday. And I will see you all tomorrow on Sunday. Yeah, and you know what? Screw water. I'm going to go get some soda. I need some caffeine. My brain's starting to die too. I have no voice. My throat's all dry, and my body's just starting to shut down. I need to go wake myself up. So I'm gonna go grab myself a soda, I think. Anyway, guys, have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.